Well, hi there, it's Todd Rhodes from ChurchJobs.tv. Today I want to do a short video here just to tell you what I think are the top 3 things that job candidates hate about churches. I talk to candidates quite often, people that are looking for jobs in a church, and a lot of times they're just frustrated. And they say, man, the church is the most dysfunctional group of hiring people that we've ever seen. And you know what? They're right a lot of times. Here are 3 top pet peeves, things that really kind of tick off candidates. If you're a church looking for a candidate or for a new staff position right now, maybe these are 3 pet peeves, maybe these are 3 things that you should try and make sure that you don't do, okay? And really, a lot of them are kind of common knowledge, but the first thing that candidates say is, look, I go in, I candidate for a position, I go in, I apply for a position, I have an interview, and then I don't hear anything back. Now, it's always a fine line. Does the church get back to the candidate? Does the candidate get back to the church? Yeah, I mean, it's got to be, you both have to play well here during this courting stage. But a lot of candidates, and I do believe this to be true, will have an interview and they won't hear anything back, and they'll try to get a hold of the church, and the church is really unresponsive. And I think a lot of times churches will do this because particularly if they're not interested in a candidate, because it's just uncomfortable to say, not so much. We don't think you're the right person for the position. It's always best to be honest. Come on, we love Jesus, we love the church, we're church people. You got to be honest. And lack of communication a lot of times is not honest. So be sure to communicate with your candidates after the interview. The second thing that I think really bothers a lot of candidates, and I see this happen a lot, and I'm going to actually do another video on maybe the stages of what churches are in when they post a job opening online. One of the pet peeves is that churches often post jobs before they're ready to hire. And this is quite often the case. How many times have I heard that candidates go to apply for a job and they say, oh, we've decided not to hire that position. Or all of a sudden the adult ministries position that's posted has turned into a campus pastor position, or the adult ministries position has turned into a youth / communications position. A lot of times churches don't know exactly what they want to hire, and they put things out there, and that's really, really frustrating to the candidates. Real quickly, what I'm going to say in my other video, there's kind of like a red, yellow, green light when it comes to churches and job openings. And there is on the candidate side as well, but a lot of churches, when they post a position, some are just ready to go. Man, we lost our worship pastor last week and we need another one right away. We got to hire somebody. That's a green light. Yellow is, you know what, we lost our worship pastor last week. Things are going okay now, but we got to hire somebody in the next 6 months. We got to hire somebody in the next year. Those are the churches that are going to take a little bit longer. There are also churches that are red, that they fit into this group. They put out the job opening, and they're not sure they're going to hire. They're not sure if they have the budget. They're not sure if this is the position they need. They're just kind of putting feelers out, which is really, really frustrating for candidates that are looking for a quick fix to their employment situation. So the second pet peeve, churches that post way before they're ready or willing to hire anybody. The last one kind of fits in with the first one. The first one was don't communicate after the interview. The last pet peeve of candidates that I hear all the time is that churches just don't communicate at all. I heard from a person recently. He said, I've sent out dozens of resumes, and this guy did it right. He actually looked at the position, was qualified, met all the qualifications for the positions. He said, I've sent a few dozen emails out and applications, and I've not heard back from one church, not even acknowledging my resume. And that's troublesome. You should at least, it's 2014. It's very easy to set up an autoresponder, or at least have your administrative assistant or someone just say, hey, Hal, thanks for the resume. This is where we are in the process. This is what the timeline looks like. we'll get back to you if we want to pursue it. Those are just easy things, but the lack of communication really is kind of unexcusable from a church, and yet a lot of churches really have a problem with communication. If you have any questions, or you've got maybe another pet peeve and say, Todd, man, you just did 3, but I've got 2 more, I'd love to hear from you. My email address is todd.rhodes, RHOADES, todd.rhodes@ChurchJobs.tv. I'd love to hear from you, love to hear your question, love to hear your feedback, and who knows, maybe I'll answer your question right here on the internet in a new video. Thanks for watching.